Nobody expected it to spiral the way it did. One clip, one interaction, and suddenly timelines were on fire. Comment sections split into factions. Loyalty was questioned. Legacy was dragged into debates that felt bigger than the moment itself. Because when it comes to Papoose, people don't just see an artist. They see commitment, they see history. They see a love story that survived prison sentences, industry pressure, and years of public scrutiny. So when his public interaction with Claressa Shields began trending, it didn't feel minor. It felt symbolic. The moment itself wasn't explosive on the surface. There was no shouting, no overt scandal, just proximity, conversation, laughter, an energy that some viewers interpreted as too comfortable. And in today's digital culture, subtlety doesn't stay subtle for long. Social media users slowed down the footage, zoomed in on body language, analyzed facial expressions like detectives reviewing evidence. In the age of viral content, perception often outruns reality. Within hours, a simple appearance was reframed as something deeper. The timing made it heavier. Remy Ma's name was already circulating online for unrelated reasons, which meant emotions were heightened before the clip even surfaced. And Remy and Papoose aren't just another celebrity couple in hip-hop, they've long been viewed as a rare example of unwavering loyalty. Their story has been told countless times. The wedding while she was incarcerated. The years he publicly stood by her side. The interviews where he spoke about patience and devotion with almost sacred reverence. For many fans, their relationship represented something stable in an industry known for instability. It wasn't just personal, it was inspirational. So when something appears to threaten that image, even slightly, people react emotionally. That's why the clip hit differently. When fans saw Papoose and Claressa interacting publicly, it triggered something deeper than gossip. It felt like a disruption of a narrative people had invested in for years. In hip-hop culture, loyalty isn't just private, it's currency. It's branding. It's identity. And when that identity feels shaken, the response is swift. Claressa, for her part, is not someone who blends into the background. She carries presence. She's confident, accomplished, and used to dominating conversations in her arena. A multi-division champion who has built her career on strength and discipline, she doesn't move timidly. And that confidence became part of the online interpretation. When two strong personalities appear aligned publicly, people don't assume coincidence, they assume intention. That's when the tone shifted. At first, comments were cautious. Didn't expect this. This looks interesting. But soon the energy hardened. Where's Remy? This ain't a good look. This feels wrong. Screenshots spread faster than context. Reaction channels uploaded breakdowns. Bloggers added speculative headlines. And as always, once a storyline forms online, controlling it becomes nearly impossible. What intensified everything was the silence. There was no immediate denial, no clarification. No, you're reaching. And in modern digital culture, silence often speaks louder than words. When public figures don't respond, the internet fills in the blanks. Some fans argued Papoose didn't owe anyone an explanation. Others insisted that when your public brand is built on loyalty, optics matter. Every frame matters. Every interaction matters. Then came the generational divide. Older hip-hop fans defended Papoose fiercely. To them, his track record outweighed. A single clip. He's solid. Stop playing with his name. They viewed the backlash as disrespectful speculation against someone who had already proven his character. Meanwhile, a younger audience raised in the era of constant transparency wasn't as quick to dismiss what they saw. They argued that public figures understand how optics work. In 2026, no one is unaware of how quickly narratives form. But beneath all the noise sat a quieter question. Was it fair? What if it truly was harmless? What if it was networking, mutual respect, or simple camaraderie between two public figures? Hip-hop culture rarely evaluates moments in isolation. It evaluates them through legacy, through symbolism, through memory. And Papoose's legacy is deeply intertwined with his public devotion to Remy Ma, so when something doesn't perfectly align with that image, it creates cognitive dissonance. It doesn't matter if nothing happened. It matters how it looked. And then there was Claressa. Overnight, she was swept into a storm she hadn't initiated. That's the unpredictability of viral culture. You don't have to author a narrative to become central to it. For Claressa, a champion used to fighting opponents in a ring, this was a different kind of battle one waged. Across timelines and comment sections, some critics unfairly directed frustration toward her, as if she had engineered the entire situation. Online, nuance collapses quickly. Someone becomes the lightning rod, a symbol. A storyline needs a focal point, and sometimes that focal point is assigned without evidence. It didn't matter whether there was verified context. The momentum of speculation had already begun. At the same time, many voices rose in her defense. Supporters pointed out a familiar pattern. When speculation surfaces, strong women are often positioned as instigators by default. The conversation evolved beyond gossip. It touched on gender dynamics and double standards. Why is confidence in a woman sometimes reframed as manipulation? Why is proximity interpreted as intent? These weren't abstract questions. They became part of the broader debate unfolding in real time. What started as commentary about loyalty turned into reflection on cultural archetypes. The villain, the victim, the disruptor. Social media thrives on simplified roles. But real life rarely fits into neat categories. Claressa became a symbol and a narrative larger than a single interaction. Behind the scenes, industry insiders were watching closely. Because an entertainment image isn't just personal, it's economic. Brands are built on perception. Endorsements hinge on reputation. Partnerships depend not only on talent but on narrative stability. A viral controversy, even one built on speculation, can shift public sentiment overnight. That's what makes moments like this consequential. They don't stay confined to gossip blogs. They intersect with careers, sponsorships, and long-term positioning. Even without official statements, the ripple effects are monitored. When Backlash reaches a certain volume, it influences opportunity. The most fascinating aspect of this situation was how quickly curiosity turned into controversy. Within days, fans revisited old interviews, old quotes, old public moments, searching for patterns that might validate their theories. It became less about the original clip and more about constructing a storyline around it. And still, the core question remained unanswered. Was this really what people thought it was? Sometimes audiences project fears onto moments. Sometimes they feel protective over couples whose stories meant something to them. Remy and Papoose's relationship symbolized hope in a genre often associated with instability. So when that image feels even slightly threatened, reactions intensify. But hip-hop has always thrived on proximity. Artists collaborate, they attend events together, they build alliances. Not every interaction carries hidden meaning. Yet in an era where every camera phone can freeze a second and turn it into a headline, innocence becomes harder to prove then. Suspicion. As days passed, the intensity cooled, but the questions lingered. The fanbase remained divided. Some insisted critics overreacted. Others argued optics don't lie. In the middle of it all were three real people navigating a narrative they may never have intended to create. What makes this moment powerful isn't scandal, it's symbolism. It forces a larger conversation about public ownership of celebrity relationships. Do fans get to dictate what loyalty looks like? Does public devotion create public obligation?